or a young lady who was just shopping for her family before Christmas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Candelaria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this bill for many reasons, but I'm just going to give you a few names. David Keaton, 1973. James Kramer, 1973. Michael Linder, 1981. Anthony Brown, 1986. Nathan Fields, 2009. That is the list of 5 individuals that have been exonerated, and I'm going to repeat myself, exonerated from a list of 131 since 1971. People that were put on death row for a crime they never committed. In 1972, the Supreme Court declared that the capital punishment was unconstitutional, that it violated the 8th and 14th Amendment because it was cruel and unusual punishment. Unfortunately, in 1976, it was reversed. Putting somebody on death row, what does it accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything. The victim is already dead. You cannot bring them back. Do you think that fear of death or putting somebody in death is going to deter crime? It's not. Not at all. Most crimes are done in the heat of passion. They're done in the heat of passion. Therefore, how can one even think that the fear of death is going to deter crime? I must add that as a victim, we look for instant gratification. At that moment, we look for that instant gratification. Death row is a long process. Once a person gets convicted, they sit in a cell for years. The family members still continue to struggle with that pain. That pain's still there. It still hurts. I share the sentiments of some of my colleagues in here who have lost a loved one, and they have never recovered. Well, let me tell you something. I lost someone as well. I lost my grandmother. She died in a horrific crime. She was raped. She was beaten. And she was suffocated to death. At that moment, I was angry. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to commit a crime myself. If that person would have been in front of me, I probably would have killed them. Does that make it any better? Was that going to make me feel any better? Not at all. Not at all. Because what? I killed the individual. And what? I'm still going to suffer the death of my grandmother because that's not going to bring her back. That will never bring her back. When you love someone who is either murdered or died of a natural cause, you're still going to suffer it in your heart. Always. Doesn't matter how the death comes, but you're always going to suffer it, no matter what, because it's a loved one. I cannot bring my grandmother back. But you know what? If that person would have been caught, which never was caught, and it was processed and put on death row, that's not going to solve the issue. You know what? Put him into prison in 4 walls for life. Let him suffer. I think that's a worse punishment, not to have the liberty to see the sun the next day. That's a bigger punishment. Death penalty, which makes an error irreversible, and the chance of error is inescapable. when based on human judgment. Based on human judgment, because we all make mistakes. We could be sitting and passing judgment based on facts that later on turn out to be not the reality. So here we are prosecuting somebody, putting them on death row, who might be innocent. Is there any evidence to support the use of the death penalty securing the life of a citizen? Not at all. Does the death penalty give increased protection against being murdered? No, it does not. We can leave this chamber today and be murdered tonight. And I can see the headlines. Legislator killed in a drive-by shooting. We weren't looking for it. We were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Legislator killed in a convenience store robbery. So the death penalty is not going to deter crime. Definitely not. The conviction of an innocent does occur, as I stated earlier, and we have seen it many, many times. Death makes a miscarriage of a justice that is irrevocable. 2 states, Maine and Rhode Island, have abolished the death penalty because of public shame and remorse after they discovered they executed an innocent man. And I will conclude my remarks by saying that killing an individual is not going to bring that loved one back. How many are killed daily? Daily. And they would never find justice because those individuals were never caught. If the death penalty is to deter crime, then our state, our beautiful state, will be free of murders. And the last time I read the newspaper, somebody got shot and killed. So I urge all my colleagues to support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative O'Neill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.